The War Hammer Plus was created as an extension of the War Hammer Varsity. Notice that the shaft is longer. Why? I want room to be able to do lower body movements, but lower body movements that emphasize that triple extension of the ankle, knees, and hip in that angular or diagonal load. That as opposed to traditional vertical axial loading, like barbell squatting, I don't care if it's back squat, front squat, any variation, you always push it from the heels. In this format, now you are developing still that triple flexion extension, but the angle gives you also that traction. Think about sprinters. How many times when they get on the block, they need to generate that triple extension by pushing from the ball of their feet. Even vertical jump, right here, you're going to take off on the ball of your feet. For instance, football, linemen, wide receivers, every time they snap the ball, they are in that triple flexion, that triple extension, it's on the ball of their feet, creating that forward propulsive movement. So we call it the angle squat or the lineman squat. But it's unilateral because the weight is going to be either right or left. Okay? So we load, and the angle is going to be close to a 90 bar to body. Notice that my right arm, which is where the load is compacted here. There's no gap. Okay? Notice that in that angle, I'm already in that 90-degree position where the ball of my feet is where the load is resting. And then from here, all I do is a triple flexion, but mostly it's a knee dominant flexion. And then I lean forward. Again, there's no restriction as related to my wrist, elbows, or shoulders. Look how comfortable, how relaxed are my joints, shoulder blades, my neck, my cervical, upper back. The load is on the side, but it's very close, sitting on my trap to my neck, right here. Okay. And I can do also different variation. I can do split squat. I can also turn into a lateral lunge. Now here I'm going to emphasize more those, the abductors on my right leg and the adductor on my left leg. So you have multiple variations of creating that triple flexion extension for lower extremity strength without depending entirely on traditional, conventional barbell movements that for the most part are based on other sports like Olympic lifting and powerlifting. That those sports were never intended in their definition to define or enhance athletic performance in other sports. Now, another benefit of the War Hammer Plus and the Renegade system is not only you can do a triple flexion extension with that forward traction, but you can also work the opposite. Is working that triple flexion extension with that backward traction. Okay? So, as opposed to load facing the Renegade system, I'm going to load facing away. So I'm going to turn from the side, I'm going to spin, squat, come to the side. Okay? I know that 90 degrees bar to body is the angle. How do I know that? From this position here, I feel that contact with the ground from toes to heels. So at that point, all I need to do is hinge my hips a little bit, and again, knee flexion by keeping that lean angle. But at the bottom, notice that I'm going to achieve close to a 90-degree angle of my back to the ground. Okay? Notice how much range of motion I'm getting here. Okay? This is very common in Asian countries where people actually sit this way. And you'll be amazed how fast you're going to be able to do this on the first try. Even though you might feel that you have some tight hips. Tight hips usually, by doing traditional squatting, come from using the wrong tool. But if you use the right tool, your body will recognize it, and it's going to be able to achieve full range of motion under load. And that's actually how we stretch. We stretch as we do the movement. We don't do it separately. So it's a very efficient way of movement. It's a very efficient way of moving in the weight room without isolating those components.